Hey there, welcome back to the channel. I received a comment on one of my recent videos asking me to talk about sleeping positions, and this is a great idea. It's something I've wanted to discuss, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. There actually isn't a lot of research available talking about sleeping positions, but as always, I'm going to try to explain things as scientifically as possible. So today we are going to discuss sleeping positions, but also how they relate to back pain. Hey everyone, my name is Matthew, and welcome to Calm Insomniac, where we're a community of people trying to get a better night's sleep. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications. According to the CDC, acute low back pain is the most common type of pain reported, and 25% of American adults report back pain within the last 3 months. A significant number of people report back pain in connection with their sleep posture, and there's certainly some truth to that, and this is a really popular topic on blogs and forums. But like I said in the beginning, there isn't a ton of research out there that specifically addresses sleeping position to back pain. So for the majority of this video, I'm going to be using one specific research study as my source. It was a 2019 research study that conducted a scoping review of the existing literature that discussed the connection between sleeping position and back pain. They reviewed all of the studies that were available in the English language, and their goal was to synthesize the data as well as come up with recommendations for future studies. I realize that using only one source for most of the information I'm giving to you is not a good way to go about doing research. However, in this case, because they took the time to synthesize the data and summarize it for us, I think this is a good starting point, especially, again, because there just isn't a lot of research existing out there. First, let's discuss the different kinds of sleeping positions. This is a hugely popular topic, and depending on which article or blog post you read, you might see anywhere from 3 to 9 different sleeping positions listed. Additionally, a lot of these articles will try to claim that your sleeping position can tell something about who you are as a person. Unsurprisingly, there is not a lot of science to back that up. However, there are 3 main types of sleeping positions: supine, prone, and side-lying. Supine is sleeping on your back, and this is often associated with low back or lumbar pain because the lower back is unsupported during the night when we sleep on our back. Prone, or sleeping on our stomach, is associated with both lower back pain and cervical or neck pain. Lower back pain occurs because our spine is usually curved in an unnatural way throughout the night when we sleep on our stomach, and cervical pain happens because when we sleep on our stomach, we usually turn our head to one side so that we can breathe, and this puts a lot of strain on our neck. And side lying is pretty self-explanatory. It's when we sleep on our side. This is arguably the most common position to sleep in, with more than 60% of Europeans sleeping the majority of their night on their side. Because this is such a popular sleeping position, some research studies have further characterized side lying into symmetrical and asymmetrical side lying, and this just refers to the symmetry of the spine throughout the night. Those are the 3 most common sleeping positions in adults, and for our purposes we don't need to go into any further variations of those. What's important to understand is that the sleeping position you sleep in doesn't really matter. What matters most is that your body is in alignment and properly supported. I want to pause real quick and just say, if you're enjoying this video so far, then please give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe so you are the first to be notified when I release my next video. Before we go any further, I want to take a moment and try to explain why not a lot of research exists talking about sleeping positions and back pain. It's actually rather difficult to study, and I want to try to explain why. First, it's difficult to study sleeping positions because we don't remain stationary throughout the night. When we sleep, we will change our position, and even though we'll spend the majority of the night in one position, that can make it difficult to gather accurate data on how one sleeping position might benefit over another. Second, Most research studies only rely on self-reported sleeping positions. So what happens is participants will show up and they'll be given a questionnaire where they will have to self-identify which sleeping position they sleep in. But as you can imagine, this can be highly inaccurate, as you might remember falling asleep in one position, but you actually spend the majority of the night in a different position. And the other thing is, most of these studies don't actually verify that these statements are true. They don't use cameras or infrared to corroborate their statement. Third, most of these sleep studies are done over a very short period of time with a small sample size. And this is problematic because we don't have a ton of data to go from. Our results are from a very narrow field, and what we really need are longitudinal studies that look at a larger range of subjects over a longer period of time. This is just so we can get more data, and over time we can become more accurate. And doing these studies over a longer period of time will allow us to see how sleeping positions can change and how they can benefit or hurt us in the long term. And finally, we need broader research that looks more generally at how sleeping positions can relate to back pain. There is a ton of research out there talking about how sleeping position can affect certain ailments. For example, there are numerous studies that specifically address the relationship between sleeping on your back and how that can worsen the symptoms of sleep apnea. But this is only good data for a certain population. What we want are more general, broad studies that can be applied to the wider population as a whole. Alright, let's get back to the topic that we're really interested in, which is how sleeping positions can relate to back pain. Back pain, both cervical and lumbar, is the most common precursor to musculoskeletal disabilities. And this is true for people of all ages from all around the world. Interestingly though, women self-report back pain at a higher rate than men. One of the reasons we wake up with back pain is due to increased pressure on our spinal tissue. During the day, our spinal tissue has an increased compression load due to gravity and muscle contraction just from walking around. At night, this pressure lessens, which allows our spine to be more flexible. However, when our spine is more flexible, this is why we often find ourselves waking up in really unusual positions. And being in these unusual positions for a long period of time puts a lot of extra pressure on our spinal tissue as well as the ligaments. In fact, in severe habitual cases of people sleeping in unusual positions, it can alter the shape of the spine. It's believed that prone sleepers have increased pressure on their spinal tissue because of the unnatural curve on the lower end of their spine and from their head being turned sideways throughout the night. On the other side, it's believed that side-lying sleepers have the least amount of pressure on their spine due to the position and the spine typically staying in a more symmetrical position. However, it's important to note that research has not come to an agreement on a direct correlation between sleeping position and back pain. So if science doesn't have an agreement on the relationship between sleeping position and back pain, then what can we do to try to alleviate some of our back pain when we wake up? The most important thing to remember is no matter what sleeping position you use, we want our spine to be in alignment and properly supported. When we sleep, we want our head, shoulders, and hips to be in alignment. And ideally when we sleep, we want to fill in any spaces between our spine and the mattress. For supine or back sleepers, we want a thin pillow that can be supporting the head and neck and not put it at an unusual angle. And we also want a pillow to be underneath the lumbar or lower back to properly support that space that exists between the spine and the mattress. For prone or stomach sleepers, we want to put a pillow underneath our lower abdomen or our hips to prop up our lower spine and keep it in alignment and not in an unusual curve. Additionally, we want some kind of cylindrical pillow or even just a rolled up towel to be placed under your forehead. This way you can not only breathe properly, but also keep your head and neck straight. And for side-lying sleepers, we also want a thin pillow to support the neck, that way it is not at an unusual angle. And we also want a pillow in between our knees to keep our spine in good symmetry. Some people also say that you should bring your knees toward your chest a little bit if you sleep on your side, but there isn't a strong consensus on that. And from there, we could talk about mattress and pillow choices, but that's another topic for another day. And as always, with all of my videos that discuss medical advice, please remember that I am not a medical professional and this is not medical advice. If you have any concerns regarding your health, then please see your doctor or healthcare provider. And I'll say one more time, above all else, no matter what position you sleep in, the most important thing is to keep our body in alignment and properly supported. Alright, that is a brief overview into the different sleeping positions and how they can relate to back pain. I was actually really surprised that there's not a lot of scientific research on this in general terms, and I really hope that more research is done, and then we can discuss this even further. Let me know in the comments below, what topic about sleep health do you want me to discuss next? This video happened because someone left a comment on one of my recent videos, and because we're building a community here, that's really important to me. So let me know, and that can be our next video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned a lot. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Pinterest, check out my website, and join my email list. All of those links are down below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more of my videos on sleep health, then I suggest you check out this playlist over here. And if you want to see one of my recent videos talking about the top 5 most relaxing pieces of orchestral music, then watch this video down over here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.